All right. Welcome to the second talk of Monday morning, second day of DebConf24, I think. Anyway, I didn't pay attention at all to who our presenter is, but here he is. He's going to do a great talk about whatever this is. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi. Hi, I'm Yunseong Kim. Call me YK. Thank you for inviting me as a presenter of the DebConf 2024. Thank you for joining this session. It's really hot today, and it's Monday, isn't it? So I've set up a session to help cool down our software. By using electricity more efficiently, we can make our day-to-day life a bit cooler. I am Linux Perf contributor, so I've prepared today's topic, Linux Perf, which you can use with Debian Linux. Actually, it's supported by all distributions. I will start with part one, a simple introduction to Perf. This should make using the Perf tool fun and easy. Then, in part two, I will cover a real-world use case and demo each of my labs. Finally, in part three, we will wrap things up with a cool-down outro. I will take a closer look at, discuss sometimes interesting topics, so let's get started. Part number one, Introduction to Linux Perf. Perf is the official profiler for Linux. Even Linux Torvalds use it. Many companies, including Ericsson and other major tech firms, rely on this tool. Since Perf is included in the Linux source tree after version 2.6.31, it is easy to package and use. Perf is very fast, but you need to be cautious with the sampling rate. A rate that's too high can result in too many overhead. Perf can profile hardware intervals with PMU support. PMU is hardware. No PMU mode with HL timer. Basically limited to recording interrupt context events. So, Perf comes with many features for handling hardware events and supports a variety of well-known programming languages. First, we can use Perf on every Linux platform, so there is no need to carry a bunch of tools for profiling Linux system. Second, we can apply an appropriate sampling rate to suit our needs. Third, profiling results are trustworthy. Perf itself supports many filtering and statistical features. Runtime process dynamically profile and multiple process also. These features make Perf profiling live production system. Perf is usually installed in both development and live production environments, and most Linux distributions support it. This is kind of concept mapping to each subcommand in Perf. Perf has an interface skin-like subcommand. So Perf list, find events, Perf stat, count them, Perf record, write event data to perf.data file, Perf report, browse summary. There's some other report option. And Perf script, we can post-processing with perf.data. There's some example command. First, we can modify sampling rate, appropriate. We can profile one or multi-process. So there is some options. With G and choreograph option, we can visualize more interpretingly. So, and record with some PID with dynamically, or it can start with attach it with perf record, and we can multiple process profiling and system-wide process with any other argument. Sampling-based profiling. So if you are worried about overhead, we can downrate the sampling rate, and if the Linux kernel defined that the sampling rate is too high, it automatically adjusts it. So this is the kernel log. So lowering kernel sampling rate. So, and there is options, some frequency options, and there is some sub option, strict frequency. This is a basic diagram. First, this is a bird's eye view of Linux Perf. The architecture of Perf is interesting. In order to monitoring a running process, Perf record as the Linux kernel to collect events from it using Perf event open system call. The Linux kernel records samples which typically contain some execution state. Linux also records information about executable files. So, so perf record command request to Linux kernel, and each event record into kernel buffer, and this data writing to perf.data, and we can visualize the data with perf report. This is the tracing event related Linux kernel internal diagram. So we focus on that perf event option, and there is some variety of events. So we sometimes call the software event with trace point. This event derived from some app trace like subsystem. So this is some perf, and BPF also have some share some subsystem with perf. So this is a diagram. With perf list command, you can check all the events that are active depending on the hardware, file system, and kernel configuration. There's some tool. I think the best UI tool I found is k.hotspot. We can do this by running the hotspot command where the perf data is located. So this visualization is very good. Yes, and actually, I prepared this session in focusing on how to use perf in real life. Perf stands for effectiveness of huge pages program, rather in C++. Flame graph visualization using perf record and script with TIPC stream protocol. System-wide profiling with perf top, perf kwork, perf kvm, and perf as a kernel fodder. So sometimes using only chrono or get time of day for profiling isn't sufficient for software profiling needs. While both programs yield the same result, there is a difference in performance in later labs. So I'll demo some huge page program in normal hash function and a comparison with huge page, utilizing huge page in the same program. So we can see with perf stat -d, 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 triple D, some hash, making hash program. So there is a page fault, 17,000, and we can see some running time in user space and kernel space. Performance counters are CPU hardware registers that count hardware events such as page faults, instruction is executed, cache misses suffered, or branch miss predicated. They form a base for profiling application, trace dynamic control flow, and identify hotspot. So this triple D, this feature was created by Ingo. Is it convenient, isn't it? And I'm using this huge page allocator in mmap with map under by huge TLB. So I set up 16 number of huge pages. So 86 page faults only. Comparison with 17,000. So even faster in kernel space. There is a 0.28, but 0.03. So 86 and 0.03. Only 86 page faults, isn't it? What is the magic? I utilize the map UGTLB on mmap in code. Actually, I practice this profiling in Raspberry Pi 5. So this is profiled in ARM architecture. So, and if someone who wants to using these huge TLB features, our kernel needs to be built with config underbar huge TLBFS and config underbar huge page options. I tested 32. There is a smaller gap in kernel space time, but not that much. And I prepared labs, some simple string testing TIPC. So you can find some events in this available event. This also provided with Perf list and record with filter equal to OR. So I recorded that related and TIPC related events on TIPC stream server. So this is the recorded some events counted. So we can profile and we can deep dive some coder space, what's going on. So there is some TIPC and net event. So, and I made some flame graph. There is a Brendan Gregg's flame graph is so popular, but slow and sometimes OM killed on large perf data. So I searched some YouTube and there is some John who's Inferno. This is a Rust program. And also there is a Netflix flame scope, but I'm focusing on the flame graph. In this web, I use a benchmark for the TIPC protocol developed by Ericsson to measure perf data. So web project is in here, and we can insert module TIPC and record with CarGraph dwarf benchmark. So this is the same interface, Brendan Gregg's flame graph per script. So Inferno collects perf, Inferno flame graph, make some SVG magic. And okay, we can find a TIPC event with some tooltip or search bar. This is some application TIPC streaming server. So there's a lot of events. They form a basis for profiling application to trace dynamic control flow and identify hotspot, because a growing core stack and horizontal side total executing time for each event. So this is some lot of spin-up core stack themes. So we can see those of many low spin-lock heading when profiling. If we get the insight from this TIPC benchmark scenario, so this brings another chance to contribution our news kernel. Those who are very active in the Linux kernel mailing list might find this information obviously, but not everyone may be aware. That's why I'm sharing this, so you can easily find the keyword using Ginlog with Perf. There is so many benchmark examples. So okay. So and there is a live profiling with Perf top or Perf K-work and Perf KVM. You can follow this presentation to profiling some KVM machine. So it's simple. We need some modules in guest machine, so copy them and record and report some whole machine with profiling. And okay. So, okay.